Welcome to CCTV, aka the Cultural Connotations channel.
Bringing you misguided stereotypes, racially charged comments, and cultural appropriation.
So today we decided to cover a different topic with you, and that is, are Australians really like Crocodile Dundee?
I don't know, Anson, are they?
Nah, man.
Yeah. Instant denial, doesn't want to hear about it. 100% we don't resemble Crocodile Dundee in any way or form.
I mean, look at us.
Yeah, okay. That's fair enough. That's fair enough, yeah. You know, a bit of cultural diversity. You know,
That's right.
A slight cultural connotation, I think. Yeah.
A slight one.
Yeah, I think so. So, in fact, this whole Crocodile Dundee situation, I believe we have on our hands a misguided stereotype.
Wonder where I've heard that before.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. So, Crocodile Dundee. Originally, it was a tourism campaign to attract more attention to Australia. And this whole character, Crocodile Dundee, was a fabrication to garner more interest in Australia, to start to put Australia out there and to start to inform people of its culture and what it has to offer.
I guess it's unique culture, right?
Yes, very unique, of course. And what happened is this campaign was so effective, it was such a good stunt, and this character was so likable that it turned into a movie. And that's where we get 1986 Crocodile Dundee. So right now I'm going to have to talk a little history on Crocodile Dundee. You know, probably a few facts, be a little boring. Unfortunate, I know. Or is it fortunate? I'm not too sure.
That's just his role.
Yeah. You're just very dry and on point at that. I don't know what's going on, and then you keep laughing. My face is... Okay. But, so Crocodile Dundee. It's important to talk about the success, and that's where the sort of small historical facts come in. So, Crocodile Dundee is in fact the highest grossing film, not only locally in Australia, but also internationally.
And I think it was so successful that they made a second one.
And a third one. Yes, that's correct. And this is...
What started off as a I guess, a hoax or...
Yeah, that's it. It was
a bit of a joke almost.
A comedic stunt turned into a comedic movie stunt.
Yeah, that's right.
Of epic proportions. Yeah. And, you know, this film was so successful in '86 that only one movie in America and internationally beat it, and that was Top Gun. Damn you, Tom Cruise!
Tom Cruise. Why don't you?
That says it all. That says it all. So, how is this important for Australia, I think? That's what we're trying to get at. And where does it fit in with the Australians really resemble Crocodile Dundee in any way or form? And obviously, as he's so adamantly stated, no! Yeah. So, basically, with the advent of Crocodile Dundee, it's really started to show the world, okay, this is what Australia is. This is what the Australian populace can be like. But that's, of course, created a lot of stereotypes.
Yeah. I also feel that even though this movie was so successful, it perhaps created a problematic stereotype in a way. So, back to the movie Crocodile Dundee, it's when we think of Crocodile Dundee, and a lot of people around the world actually think of Australians the same way, literally like Crocodile Dundee himself, Paul Hogan, the actor, where, he's this guy who's a white Australian with an ochre accent, with these teeth on his hat, whether there's leather vest, leather pants, wrestling crocodiles for fun, as a pastime, with kangaroos jumping just in the wilderness in the back, wombats are nearby, koalas climbing trees, these brown snakes that are just, like a garden snake. Like, seriously, we don't live in a desert. As much as it looks that way, we don't live in a desert, and we don't live with these animals, and we don't wrestle crocodiles. It's this image, I guess, really created interest, like Brian was saying, put us on the world map, and increased our tourism because of this reason. And unfortunately, it's sort of set an image that's sort of haunting us to some extent to this day. But yeah, to be real with you, we don't do that. I mean, we're not white Australian. That's one thing. We're urban. We don't live in the desert. And you know what? It actually gets cold here. It's not just sunshine all the time. And kangaroos. I'm going to talk about kangaroos for a sec here. So kangaroos are cute and fluffy, right? And for some reason, people think that we ride kangaroos to work. That is just not true. We don't have kangaroos as pets, and we don't ride them to work, alright? And to be honest with you, kangaroos are actually really dangerous. They, like any animal, when humans approach them, out of fear, they defend themselves. And kangaroos, having strong legs, what they naturally do is actually kick people in the stomach and destroy their guts, their intestines and everything like that, It's just really bad.
So that's basically like that sort of boxing kangaroo in Tekken, right?
Right, kickboxing, right?
Yeah, Van Damme.
So, with this, man, it's just... these kickboxers, that we have running rampant in our desert, we don't want to engage with these guys, alright? They're worse than Muay Thai kickboxers, alright? Just trust me. Basically, if you engage, their legs are so strong. These kangaroos, they jump 6 feet. They jump over fences. And, in countryside, in rural Australia, they literally jump properties because it's so easy for them.
Yeah.
They have strong legs. So I really advise you not to approach a kangaroo in the wild because you won't have a stomach left. You can't stomach that.
Yeah. You definitely can't.
So, this is just not true. We don't do that. We live in an urban city, and there's just so many of us nowadays that actually live in the city. In the past, like Brian was saying, there was the rural people. This image is more about rural Australia, and like the heritage that we have from convicts, right? So, to be honest with you, Australians are just nothing like Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, I think a fair point can be made that some of the older generations, like the baby boomers, and like you did say, people that live in rural areas who have less of this cultural influence that we have in the major cities, they can certainly have personality traits, can have similar accents and a lot of the Australian slang that Crocodile Dundee, he himself uses. But in general, I'd say that, people of our generation, first born Aussies of immigrant parents, are the new face of Australia.
Yeah, I agree, totally. We're now in mainstream Australia, we're in the workforce. It's no longer the baby boomers that control the economy, basically. It's actually people like us, we're in the workforce, and there's so many of us Australian borns, to immigrant parents. Basically, we're not your typical white Australian that used to be portrayed as the Australian image. We're very much multicultural, from different ethnicities, and in particular Melbourne, where we're from, there's over 200 countries here, 200 cultures in Melbourne itself. And, I think it ties back to what we were saying earlier about it was the tourism that sort of put us on the world map, that really made us well known and attracted people. We believe, I believe, and I think Brian does as well, that contributed towards the interest and the increase in migrants as well to Australia and to the multiculturalism that we have today.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree that Crocodile Dundee, not only as the original touristic campaign stunt that it was, but also as a successful movie and as a successful franchise, did a lot for the country. Because Australia was relatively unknown, to reiterate, and what Crocodile Dundee really did was to open up Australia culturally and as a country to the world and say, look, this is an exotic place. Yeah. It's a fun-filled adventure, so please come and explore.
Yeah, agreed. And to reiterate what we were saying before, Australians are not anything like Crocodile Dundee. We're very much multicultural, and it's just like any other country in the world, you know, like that has opened, you know, the gates to immigrants. You know, places like America, you know, UK, Europe, anywhere just like that. You know, you think of a typical multicultural city like New York, Vancouver, anything like that. That's very typical of Melbourne, Sydney, and a lot of the big cities in Australia. That's truly what modern Australia really is. That's really the modern Australian identity.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's it for today, guys. We like to leave the ball in your court, and let us know your thoughts, comments, feedback, opinions, and any other topics that you'd like us to cover in the future.
We really hope that you enjoyed today's episode, guys, and we'd love to hear back from you, as usual. So this has been brought to you live and direct by Cultural Connotations.
We know it all, we see it all, CCTV.